نحمده ونصلي على رسول الكريم بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الذين قالوا ربنا الله ثم استقاموا تتنزل عليهم الملائكة ألا تخافوا ولا تحزنوا وأبشروا بالجنة التي كنتم توعدون بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Inshallah, we'll get started with the second part of our event with the logistics, and then we have our dear beloved elder and the senior of our community, Brother Ijaz from Super Eagle, mashallah, who has been helping and serving this community in many different ways. But one of the humble service that he and his team has been providing our community is to allow the spiritual journeys for Mecca, Medina, Jerusalem, and many other places, mashallah. May Allah reward you, Brother Ijaz, and rest of your team of Super Eagle to make this possible, inshallah. Just quickly wanted to mention what happened before Isha for those who came in right now. We went through the whole ziyarah of Medina, and then briefly we went through the different aspects of Umrah in Makkah Mukarramah, inshallah. Obviously, we cannot go into much details. There were a lot of questions that came, and some people still have questions they were asking me as I was walking out. We'll go through all of it in detail, inshallah, prior to Umrah and prior to us arriving in Medina, inshallah. Our safar, our journey, once we get to Jeddah airport, we may have a small halaqah there, and when we get to Medina, in our hotels, we will have sessions. We have in our group four scholars, five scholars, mashallah, 5 imams, and both male and female, mashallah. So it's a very blessed group. We can have individual sessions, small group sessions, together, the whole group of 76? Yes. 76, mashallah. Perhaps one of the biggest Umrah group, mashallah. Mashallah, takbir. This was also the need of our time. I remember last year I wanted to go, and the year before that, and likewise many people. So this was definitely well-awaited, anticipated trip. And alhamdulillah, we are here together. So let's go with the intention that we will go together as one team, one ummah, and we'll come back with that same unity, love and affection and support for one another as one ummah, inshallah, as ISB Umrah group, inshallah. With this, I'll give it to Brother Hassan, and then he will mention some of the things that he has for everyone.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. You guys are sleepy. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. There we go, much better. Bismillah. Okay, so alhamdulillah, we're all blessed to be here today, and we're excited for this journey that we're going to be taking next week. I want to talk about the first thing that everyone should know about the Umrah trip, which will help them be successful and help us all be successful. And that's learning to use our right hand or left hand, whichever one you want. And when I say raise your hand, to do so. So my first question to you is this. How many of you are going on the Umrah trip with ISB next week? Raise your hand, really high. Raise your hand. All right, what we just did is extremely important. Throughout the trip, when we're there, there's going to be several times where we're going to need to take count. Sheikh Saad just mentioned there's 76 of us, inshallah, going. It's extremely difficult to make sure that all 76 of us are doing everything at the same time. And one of the easiest ways to do so is when we call and ask everyone to raise your hand, you do this, you raise your hand. So just remember that first. Second, I want to mention who I am and also the brother to my right here, who he is as well. I'm Hassan Hamad, and this is Brother Zubair Ansari. We are attendees of this Umrah trip just like you are, but we're also the volunteer leads for this group, for this trip, and throughout the entire experience, throughout the entire trip, myself and Brother Zubair will be available to you all, in addition to obviously the scholars that are coming with us, to assist you with regards to logistics, any kind of activities, things like that. We are the people you go to, and inshallah we are there to serve you and help you, inshallah, enjoy this experience. The next question I had for you is, how many of you are going on Umrah for the first time, ever? MashaAllah, a lot of people. Mabruk to all of you. May Allah, inshallah, accept it from you and make this a blessed and joyful occasion for you all. For those of you who've gone on Umrah before, please raise your hand. Good, mashallah, good handful of you. Or Hajj, have you been on Hajj before? MashaAllah, good. Another question. How many of you have been on Umrah before during COVID, while COVID protocol has taken place? MashaAllah, Alvi. So almost none of us that are going on the trip have been on there. And this is important. You've been since COVID restrictions? No. Okay. The reason I'm asking that question is because there's a lot of videos out there online available. There's also the talks that Sheikh Saad and Sheikh Yassin gave about the Umrah trip and how to perform Umrah and some of the logistics, right? But that's all pre-COVID. And why this is important is because this trip, as they mentioned during the talk, you'll be tested. You'll be tested. You'll need to be patient. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. But there's a lot of, very simple rules that are out there of how you can perform your Umrah. But the important thing to know is this is the first time for almost anyone that's going to go to a trip while COVID restrictions are there. So it's not the same. There are going to be things that change. There are going to be things that we didn't expect. And so what we ask of everyone when you're going on this trip is, remember, you're there to please Allah. And this is one of the best things you can ever do in your life. Be patient so that while you're going through this experience, you don't want to ruin it because you're getting upset. Walk in with the expectation that things may go wrong. Things may not go as planned. We have an itinerary that's going to be sent out to all of you, a very nice PDF that's going to go through all the things that we talked about today and some of the details of what we're going to do day by day, contact info and things like that. We'll make sure we share that with you, inshallah, by probably tonight, tomorrow morning. But just remember one thing. Everything is subject to change when you're traveling, especially on going this kind of a journey. When you go for Hajj, this is one of the first things they tell you as well. Be prepared for change and just be patient. And we ask that you do the same thing. I've never been there during COVID. Sheikh Saad, but we've never been there during COVID. So this will be a first experience for many of us, but we're going to do our best, inshallah, to serve you as best possible and make this an amazing experience for everyone. Sheikh Saad went through and gave you guys the exact detail of how to perform Umrah. And we're going to provide you with a little bit of specifics of how to do that, inshallah, on paper. But I want to also say this. Umrah is easy. Don't worry. Don't stress. And mashallah, we're blessed with many scholars with us, for the sisters and the brothers. One of them is sitting right here in the crowd, Imam Hassan Amin. If you could actually stand so everyone knows who you are. We're blessed to have him join us on the journey. So in addition to Sheikh Yassin and Sheikh Saad, there's Imam Hassan who's here, and then we have two others that are coming with us, Dr. Farhan Abdulaziz and his wife, Sister Iman Fahmi. Both of them, mashallah, have been to Umrah several times, and they're going to be there to assist us through this journey and make it an amazing experience for all of you. And they've actually been there during COVID. They've been there during COVID, so they'll be an amazing resource for us because they've kind of seen what the logistics are like and all the good, the bad, and how to get around it all. So that's good, inshallah. I mentioned earlier about raising your hands and how important that is during this trip. When we're going on the buses, when we're going to go to the different activities we're doing, the tours, the sightseeing, when we're going to go perform Umrah, one of the requests we have is keep listening for any time we ask you to raise your hand. Keep listening when we're asking to start count off one by one, or when we say, do you know where your neighbor is or your roommates are? You're going on this journey for a week and a half or so. The people you're going to be rooming with, the people that you're going to be traveling with, these are your brothers and sisters, and you're going to build memories with these people that you're going to remember for the rest of your life. When we ask you for your help and assistance to kind of speed things up and get everyone in order, look around, help us out and say, yes, he's here, or just in general, if someone can't hear us because they're too far, let us know. But raise your hand when we ask you to do so. It'll help us count and move things along. Next thing. This goes without saying, but I pointed out the individuals that will be on the trip as our guides, as spiritual guides, as well as the leads for a reason. This trip becomes very easy for all of us if everyone tries their best and does their best to follow directions. When myself or Brother Zubair say that this is the time to do something, if, for example, we're saying everyone we need to be here by a certain time, there's no negotiation. We cannot be late. We talked about buses, we talked about trains and things. We cannot risk being late for anything. And it's extremely important that we're timely with everything that we do. If we have to be on the bus by a certain time, we cannot delay. And also for the sake of everyone that's on the train or the plane or the bus with us, we don't want to be the one reason why everyone else is being held up. And in most cases, we cannot hold up the group. We don't want to have to go through a situation where we'll tell the brother or sister, you're going to have to figure out how to get there because we had to leave. So please, be on time. If we say 9:30, that means 9:30. We say 10:30, it means 10:30, not 11, not after. So it's very important to be timely in everything. Next thing, Allah decides Allah Jalla Jalala, He decides everything for us. He's the one that plans this trip. He decides who goes and who doesn't go. We've all, alhamdulillah, been invited, but I want to make it very clear, nothing is guaranteed. And Allah could decide whether or not we make it or not. I know this for a fact because we went through, and you can ask Brother Ijaz, just 2 years ago, we had a group that was going to go, 50 some people, and we all had in our mind we were going for Umrah. We went to Palestine for the first few days, and we thought we were leaving to go to Medina the next day. Didn't happen. So this trip is a test for all of us, so be patient. There was a person that asked the question in one of the WhatsApp groups, what happens if I get COVID between now and the trip? Be safe. That's all I'm going to say. Don't, we can't help you. That's completely in your control. Don't get COVID. Mask up, protect yourself, but it's your responsibility to stay safe and healthy. Not just before the trip, but while you're there. Because while you're there also, we're not going to be hand-holding. We're not putting the mask on your face. That's all up to you. Make sure you stay safe and stay healthy, because you also need to take a test while you're there to come back. And you can't come back without a negative test. So make sure you stay safe before, during, and inshallah after the trip as well. Sheikh Saad mentioned it earlier as well. Pack lightly. It's very important you pack lightly. People usually, especially their first time, they're worried, they're stressed out about what they're going to wear. And once you get there, you're going to be like, I wish I didn't bring this. You're going to bring so many extra pairs of clothes, and you're not going there to show off, and you're not going to care about who's looking at you and whatnot. You're there to focus and pray for the sake of Allah and ask for His mercy. So when you're there, pack very, very lightly. You're going to want the space anyway because you want to bring back dates and zamzam and blah, blah, blah. Don't overdo it. Pack just the very, very bare necessities. And if you want examples or specifics, talk to some of the brothers who've been there before, the sisters who've been there before. Pack very, very lightly. And here's a very important request about packing. There is the plan to take a train, inshallah. The train is going to take us from Medina to Mecca, and inshallah we'll speed our journey between the two cities to help us perform Umrah quicker, and we'll gain some time while we're in Mecca. But in order to do so, it's very important to pack lightly, and what I mean by that is everyone's allowed 2 cases of luggage in addition to their carry-on. What my request to everyone is, for us to make it easily on the train and not have to worry about luggage, we're only allowed 1 piece of luggage in addition to our carry-on per person on the train. So what I'm going to ask you all to do is this. Think and plan accordingly for your trip in Mecca and Medina. We're visiting 2 cities, Mecca and Medina. And you're going to want to shop in Medina and in Mecca. So what I would do is this. Take one of those luggage that go inside of one another, that fit inside one of another. That way, when you're in Medina, you only pack 1 bag that fits in the next. And then you go to the train and you put it on the train, no issue. Plan accordingly, get bags that fit within one another so that you can plan 1 bag for Mecca, 1 bag for Medina. You don't want to get into Mecca and think, oh wow, I need to shop, I don't have space, and start struggling and go pay for another bag. But for us to make it easy for all of us to travel from Medina to Mecca, pack lightly and pack 1 bag in another. That's very important. I mentioned this also earlier, be on time. It's very, very important, be on time. For the plane that we take off from here, don't miss that. We can't help you if you miss the flight. Be on time when it comes to the buses. Be on time for the ziyaras and we'll give you all the timings exactly so you know what to expect. And inshallah, in the WhatsApp group too, we'll continually give you updates. Myself, Brother Zubair, the imams, will continue to give you updates on when we're doing things exactly. But that time, once it's set, it's set. We have to be there. Let's see here. We mentioned earlier that there's some apps that you have to download. Many of you have already tried to download the apps and log into them. You're not going to be able to use them until you get there. So don't bother trying until we get there, but make sure you have the apps. However, it's important to make sure that you'll have service there. I don't recommend people go there and try and get a SIM card and check if their phone's unlocked and do all that. It's preferable if you check with your providers here to see if they have some kind of international plan, and just make it so that when you get there, you're not stressed out about finding a cell phone shop and getting a SIM. Don't do that. Just make sure that you have coverage when you go to go overseas, and that way you can use your same phone number. You're already in the WhatsApp group. You don't got to worry about switching phone numbers and things like that. Just make it so that your plan can accommodate you while you're there overseas in Saudi Arabia. And then you'll be able to use those apps and register for the different things that you need to. Those apps are going to be very important for you to use when it comes to registering to go for Umrah. In some cases, Salah. And in some cases, to go visit the Prophet's grave. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So that's important. Make sure you have that stuff taken care of. Additionally, you have to make sure your vaccination and your boosters are taken care of before the trip. Don't get into a situation where you arrive at the airport and you've ignored these requirements, and then you're like, I can't board. Get that taken care of immediately. Vaccination is, you have to be fully vaccinated. If it's been 8 months since your last vaccine shot, then you have to be boosted. I would recommend you getting boosted regardless. Just make sure you get that stuff done. It's very important. Hotels. So I passed around a sheet here that you guys all should have in your hands. This is a map of Masjid al-Nabawi. This is a map of the courtyard where Masjid al-Nabawi is. You have a question, sister? Huh? Do we have any extras? Give me 1 second. So this is a map of the courtyard of Masjid al-Nabawi. The way you should be holding it is the way you would typically read this, with the right, with the red box facing up. In Medina, the reason why this is important is because Medina is a big square where we're at, and the building looks almost the exact same from all the way around. And it's easy to get lost in Medina as to figure out where your hotel is. So here's what I want you to do. If you look at the bottom corner, bottom right corner, you see a gate that says Umar ibn al-Khattab gate. It's number 17. Raise your hand if you see that. You do? Yes? Okay, good. Our hotel is 1 block in from gate number 17. Out from number 17. There's several rows of hotels and blocks of hotels. Ours is on the 2nd block. So right behind gate 17, we're the 2nd block in. In Mecca, it's a lot easier to find the hotel because when you're there, you're going to see this big, massive thing staring at you, this massive clock. We're in the clock tower. That one's easy to find. And we're on the left side of that. But in Medina, we're gate 17 in the 2nd row. Our hotel's called the Frontal Al-Harithia Hotel. That's our hotel. You'll see it also. It's a very unique shape. It's a circle, or an oval. It's the only hotel with that shape, but it's in that block right behind number 17. It's important. Mark this down so you know exactly where it is. It's very easy to get lost. You can enter from one side, exit the next, and you think you're in the same place. So that's important. Next, how many of you are in the WhatsApp group? Let me ask it differently. How many are you not in the WhatsApp group? Okay. If you're not in the WhatsApp group, please make sure you come see us so we can get you a link. You have to join. Also, if you have family members that are not in the WhatsApp group but are going on the trip, make sure they get added so that they can, navigate, they get all the updates and they know when we're meeting and where we're meeting. That's very important. So please make sure you see us after the talk, inshallah, and we'll get you added to the WhatsApp group for communications. Now, question comes up several times. What about ihram? We are providing the ihram for all the brothers. It will be available to you. However, there's a caveat. You have to be on time when we tell you come pick it up. During our trip in Medina and in Mecca, we've arranged for some of the nights to have dinners. And those dinners we've planned them specifically because we're going to be giving updates about Umrah, giving updates about the COVID-19 PCR test that we're going to be taking. That's also provided, by the way, when we're there. But it's important that you attend those meetings, the dinners that we have, because at those dinners, we'll be giving out the ihram to each of you. At those dinners, we'll be also arranging for the PCR tests. So when we say meet at this time, make sure you meet at this time. It's not the time to start doing other things. That's the time to be with us. So it's very important that you do that. What we're also providing with you is each of you who is traveling with us is getting one of these bags. These bags have it's the same bag that we kind of were mentioning to everyone to kind of grab and bring along with you. It's a very good bag to use for you to, when you're walking into the haram and you need somewhere to put your shoes or slippers. If you don't want to try and figure out where you place them and what shoe rack, what number, whatnot, it's very easily lost there. These bags you can carry on your bag and you're allowed to use them while you're walking, even in tawaf and in ihram. It's perfectly fine. You have these on your back. They're very light, but they're very sturdy and easy to carry. And inside of them is also a water bottle. The water bottle is for you to use if you want to fill up from the jugs that they have there for if you want Zamzam water, things like that to keep it with you. You'll each get one of these. And last but not least, this is also very important, a mask. These green masks. Mashallah, there was a group that left from ISB a couple weeks ago that went for Umrah, and they have live cameras that you can look at the haram, whether in Medina or Mecca. It was extremely easy to spot our ISB group that was there because these green masks, no one had them. So it's good for you all. Also, if you're ever lost and you can't find the group, look for the green. That's why we're intentional with these very green bags and green masks. You can find your brothers and sisters when you're there, inshallah, and know that's the ISB group. So we're giving you each one. Don't lose it. Keep it with you. We've counted exactly enough for the group, so make sure you grab one for you and keep it with you and bring it with you, inshallah. So you won't have to worry about buying a bag if you don't want to. And with that being said, I'm going to look to my right and my left. Anything here? Anything we have not covered? I'm going to hand the mic over to Brother Zubair.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm really excited to go with all of you, inshallah. Just a few things. I think Hassan did a great job of comprehensively describing the trip. But from my perspective, I actually lived in Saudi Arabia for a few years before I moved to Baltimore. And my wife just came back last week after spending almost a month in Saudi. So she came back with a lot of like fresh tidbits and tips. So I'm going to share some of those with you guys. The first thing is, small details do matter. So one thing that she did suggest is that it's a good idea to print everything out. So mashallah, it looks like Super Eagle Travels has given everybody like a voucher. Keep that close to you, because the Saudi immigration officials, seeing something tangible in your hand or in their hand is a lot easier than seeing like a screenshot of something. So just make sure that you have everything printed out as a backup. They have everything in the system, but sometimes it takes a little bit longer. So I would highly suggest you take pictures of your passports, etc., and keep it close to you. You might want to even scan it and just email it to a relative or to yourself so you have it in your inbox as well. The country's going through transformation, so you have to be very flexible, like Brother Hassan said. Be very flexible and be patient. Probably for those people who have gone before, which I saw a few hands, there's a lot of cultural changes going on. MashaAllah, now a lot of the sisters are working in the immigration counter, so things are actually moving much smoother than when all the guys were there. So that's a plus. Just be very patient with the folks and the staff there as well. Try not to go solo. If you have a buddy, it's much better. In the event that if you lose something, your partner might have a phone so they can call people. Make sure you contact Hassan, myself, or any of our resident scholars if you have a problem. If you lose your passport, this happens sometimes. My advice is to keep your passport in the safe, but for whatever reason you're taking it with you, which is not suggested, right, Ajaspai? Try to keep it in your room in a safe. But if you do and you lose it, just let us know. We're going to have to contact the U.S. Embassy in Jeddah. Keep a copy of the passport, again, back to that point. Keep a copy of everything with you. And if you lose anything, just let one of us know. We'll try our best to contact the authorities. There is a U.S. consulate in Jeddah, so it's not a full service embassy, but it is a consulate for those who are Americans on the trip, so you can usually get your information or replacement fairly quickly. Now, be mentally prepared that it might take a few extra days, so you just have to bear with that. And we will make sure to help support you as best as we can. The other thing is, try to, this is a trip that includes a lot of fitness, so try walking. That's been a big suggestion on the WhatsApp group. So try to walk as much as you can before the trip, because it's going to be a lot of walking. If you've been to Umrah in the past, it was very easy, like Brother Hassan was saying, you could walk through this gate linearly. Now, going in the masjid, you're going through one side of the masjid, leaving out from the other side. It's not like every single gate and door is open. So make sure you guys walk and drink a lot of fluids, electrolytes, Gatorade, things of that nature. Try to eat moderately and to drink a lot more fluids than you probably usually do. And then finally, the other thing is, there used to be a lot of like religious police in the country. Now they've kind of been a little bit more liberal on that, but please follow the rules and regulations of the authorities. If they're telling you you can't go in an area, don't try to squeeze in there, because we don't want anybody to be incarcerated while you're there, Khuda na khasta. So just make sure that you're listening to the authorities and our resident scholars, and just make dua, not just for yourself, but make dua for the whole group. Like Sheikh Saad and Sheikh Yassin said, we're going to Makkah and Medina. These are the cities of love and religiosity. So just make sure you're praying for everyone, and especially our ISB community, and for all the people around the world that are suffering, because every single prayer counts and it's being multiplied. So let's make sure we do a collective prayer for all of the folks around the world. And inshallah, if you have any questions, let us know.
Two quick things I just remembered. We're providing the brothers with ihram, which are the sheets that we're going to be using to perform our Umrah in. What we're not providing is the belt. When you're there in Medina, buy the belt that you feel comfortable with. Some of them have pockets, some of them don't, whatever. find one of the belts that they sell in all the different shops around the haram. Buy a belt that will fit you. We're going to provide you with the towels, not the belt. So that's on you guys to buy, inshallah. Good, great, important thing. As a part of your packing of light items, there's a good chance you will not want to wear your shoes there because it's really hot. It's very hot. Right now, if you probably look at your phone and check the weather in Mecca, it's probably 97 degrees Fahrenheit at night. It's very hot there all the time. You're not going to want to wear socks and you're not going to want to wear sneakers because it's going to make you even hotter. And so slippers are very important. You also, when you're performing your Umrah or walking around there in the Haram, you don't want to bring in some old shoes that have dirt and things like that. You're walking in some of the most blessed places in the world where the prophets and the best of people, the Sahaba, used to walk. Don't bring dirt with you. Bring simple, very light, what do they call those? Flip-flops. There you go, flip-flops. Bring some of those with you that you can use while you're there that are comfy, light, that you can throw in this bag, not be bulky and not add a lot of weight, because you'll need those when you're walking around there. You'll need them when you're going from between hotel to store to the haram, whatever. You don't want to walk around with shoes. I'm telling you, I know people that have gone thinking, no, I don't like my feet sticking out. You're going to like your feet sticking out there. Trust me. So bring slippers with you. Don't bring socks and shoes and expect to wear them there because it's very hot. Talk to you about the belt. Very important. I know Brother Zubair just mentioned it. Do not lose your passports. You don't want to deal with that mess. And again, reminder, don't get sick. Because if you get sick and you test negative, you're not boarding the plane with us. The government won't let you. You're stuck there. And so at that point, I'm sorry, positive. Sorry, yeah. No, you need to test negative. My apologies. Yeah, test negative. Don't test positive, because if you test positive, you're going to be stuck there. We're going to have to figure out hotels. You're going to have to pay for those hotels. We're going to have to pick new flights. You're going to pay for those flights. So it's just, you don't want that nightmare. Most of you probably want to come back, go to work, and go to school, and so on and so forth. So do not get sick while you're there, and follow the rules. Be safe, but you're also going to have fun, inshallah. One last thing I wanted to also mention before we kind of open up for question and answer is make dua for the brothers and sisters at Super Eagle Travel. They worked hard to get us this package, make it so that it's very affordable, and arrange the logistics for us here for us to enjoy this trip. Make dua that Allah blesses their business and continues them in the service of the Muslim community and providing these trips for them. So I'll ask Sheikh Saad to do that for us, inshallah, before we close. And I'm going to hand the mic over to Brother Ijaz to see if he has anything else he'd like to share with us.
All right, I think after listening to Sheikh Yassin and Sheikh Saad Beg, I really felt like that I'm going to miss this tour. I wish I was a part of it, which I have been doing that for many years. But maybe inshallah Hajj, they're still a part of me, and we'll be going together. When Sheikh Yassin was talking, I felt like I am in Medina now. And I really had a couple of tears coming in my eyes just thinking, I wish that reminds me I am in Medina with them. Same way when Sheikh Saad Beg came and I said, oh wow, no, I know I'm in Makkah. So he has explained everything. I think you can't go better than that. So alhamdulillah, you all been blessed to have such a comprehensive scholars. Mr. Hassan, our scholar Imam Hassan, Saad Beg, and Sheikh Yassin. So I will miss all of you. I will be on the back all the time. Call me 20 hours. I am a robot. They call me Robot AJ. So I will be there 20 hours for you for any question of any logistic I could provide and help you on, inshallah. Thank you so much again. Be a part of me and ISB, always. God bless you all and wish you a safe journey, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum. I just want to add one thing for ihram, because I also seen some hands that are people who are going for Umrah for the first time. For brothers, there are multiple ways to tie the ihram, right? For some who have been for Hajj and Umrah many times, they probably are used to tying the ihram without the belt. So again, belt is not needed, right? And there are also other options available. So inshallah, we will go through the somewhat practical perspective of ihram and tying ihram for brothers in Medina, inshallah, before we go. So, jazakumullah.
I just want to add one logistical thing. Like Brother Hassan said earlier, try to be on time. I know it's difficult, but when it comes to travel, we have to all kind of go together and leave together. So my humble request is, for example, on Friday, March 11th, which is a week from today, there's going to be a luxury coach, 2 of them. Each one's going to have 50 seats. How many people are we? 76. So there's going to be more. There's going to be ample room for all of us, inshallah, to go in comfort, mashallah. So that bus is going to be here. And again, on Friday, we're having Jummah prayer as well at 12:30. The goal is to be in the bus at 11 a.m. Because if we stay till 12:30, 1:30, we're not going to get to Dulles in time. So we're going to pray, inshallah, Safar prayer in Washington, D.C., correct? So make sure that you're on that bus at 11 o'clock. So just write it, put in your calendar, 11 a.m., Brother Zubair reminded me that I have to be in these 2 buses. Because if you're not on that bus, like Brother Hassan said, you're going to have to Uber it, or your family's going to have to drop you off, which is totally up to you. But we're providing this service to you. Take advantage of it. Be in the presence of our scholars and our female scholars as well, inshallah. So learn as much as you can and stick to the times. And on the way back, one last thing and I'll sign off. On the way back at Dulles, when we land, we also have 2 buses there. One bus, as it gets full, is going to leave. The second bus is going to stay a little bit later because there is a minor chance that someone might be stopped or delayed or late or their bags are not there. So thinking, outside of the box, the second bus is going to leave a little bit later. So you have to be patient. If you land in that second bus, just call all your friends while you're waiting or do some dhikr or something. You have to be patient because we want to make sure everybody gets back to ISB safely. Okay? Jazakallah khair.
I keep saying, this is the last thing, but I keep remembering something else. Something I wanted to mention. You have a question? We will. We'll pray together, inshallah, when we get to Dallas Airport. Bidnillah. That's the plan. Sheikh Saad, I think, and Sheikh Yassin both mentioned this. This trip is not one we take every day. People can plan vacations, things like that. But this trip specifically, you can't plan every day. You don't know the next time if you'll ever get the chance to go to visit Masjid Nabawi or the Kaaba. So use your time wisely. Use it very wisely. And what do I mean by this? Inshallah, when we're in Medina, on the last day, in the morning, before we leave, whether it's on the bus or the train, you're going to get to a moment where you look back and think, I'm about to leave Medina. And I don't know if I'm ever going to be here again. If I'm ever going to see this beautiful place or experience this place again. And then you're going to think back and say, did I use my time wisely? Did I make enough dua? Did I pray enough? Did I waste it eating or shopping or this and that? Use your time wisely. Similarly, when you're in Mecca, use your time wisely. Don't get to a point where you regret the time you spent. So for the things that are like we're asking you to necessary, be there, make sure you're there for these activities, for events, be there, and then use your time wisely. It's very, very important. You don't want to waste your time while you're there. It's a beautiful place, beautiful experience, but you're going to get to a couple moments. When you're doing your last sa'i, you're going to be, as you're going through back and forth, one by one, you're counting it and you're going to be tired. You're like, oh, I can't wait till this is over. But then you're going to get to the number 6, and then you're going to get to number 7. You're going to be like, am I ever going to do this again? Use your time wisely. It's very important. Yes, sir. Muqim application.
Yeah, Muqim.com.
That's which one is that? That's the one for the
3 days before, yeah.
Okay. So this is important with regards to your vaccination. Before you board the plane, within the 3 days prior to our departure, you need to make sure you use the Muqim application online and upload it's a link, and we'll send it to you guys, but online you have to go and upload your vaccine records. You have to. So what Brother Fazan is saying is you have to make sure you add all information about your vaccines on the app, online, before your flight. You have to have that done so that you can get on the plane and board and no issues. Yes, brother. Do you know the answer to that? He's asking if you need the card specifically or just uploading the information specifically from the card. You need the card. Did you get the proof of vaccine? Yeah. Use the card. Use the card. Yes, Imam Hassan. So the question's important. The question is important, and what happens if you get lost? So, two things. One, the places we're going to it's a beautiful place with a lot of people that are willing to help. You can ask any of the security guards you see there, and remember the name of the hotel that you're at, remember the name of the hotel where you're going to be going to, and just tell them, ask them for help. They also have the ability to use your phone. We'll be on the WhatsApp groups, all of our leads, the imams will be available. But then also the other thing in advance, that's why we kind of gave you this picture. Try and familiarize yourself with where we're going to be, where the building is, and when we get there also, look around, know where your hotel is, what gate number, things like that, and start to memorize that stuff. The other thing I was also going to say is this, learn and get familiar with the group that we're with. Look for the green masks, look for the green bags. If you get lost, look around for them. And then when you're in the haram, when we first go for the first time for Umrah, look up. You're going to see exactly where the clock tower is. And when we walk out of the haram and go to the clock tower, our hotel is the one most furthest to the left. Remember the name of the hotel, Swiss Hotel, the Swiss Hotel. But we'll provide all that information, inshallah, with you. We'll before we enter the Kaaba, before we enter the haram itself in Mecca, we'll make sure we remind everyone where we are in relation to the building. But make sure you get like a travel buddy, somebody you'll meet inshallah on the trip, and get familiarized with the space that you're in.
So on Friday, next week Friday, inshallah. You go ahead.
So the question was, are we allowed to park our cars here on campus on Friday for 10 days? So the short answer is you can. However, you have to park it in the lot outside the property. This is the county property. So if you exit the masjid, the gate, you'll see it on the right side. It's gravel, so please park there. I don't want 75 cars or 50 cars parked on the property to discomfort any of the musallis or students or staff. So let's make an intention, inshallah, to park on the gravel part. The county allows us to utilize that parking lot regularly. Best to carpool to the masjid. And if you have a family member, they can drop you off. If you have luggage, again, 2 coach buses will be right in this lot, so you'll see it bright and early on Friday morning. It's leaving at 11 a.m. I don't know if I said that. 11 a.m. Regarding the question about if you get lost, great suggestions by Brother Hassan Hamad. A better suggestion, though, is that you can take a picture of the hotel business card, keep it with you, or keep the card with you, because it's going to be in English, it'll be bilingual, and in Arabic. So if you give it to a security guard, they'll read it and they're like, oh, okay, I know where you're supposed to go.
MashaAllah. Great suggestions by both of them. One thing I wanted to remind next week, Friday. So when we come here, it's Yomul Jummah. It's a blessed day, and some people might think that let's quickly try to sneak in or find a place where we can pray Jummah. You know, we're going for a blessed journey, and then the ahkam of safar, of musafir, will come the moment you leave your house, right? When you come to the masjid, and now you're sitting here. So we don't need to overcomplicate the matters, right? So it's very important we listen to the opinion and the positions of the scholars that we are coming along. If we don't leave at 11, flight is at 5 p.m., right? And we have to be at the airport 2 hours prior to the flight. It's important. We have no idea how the traffic situations will be. So just come here and do not delay, because for one person, what's going to happen? This happened multiple times. Alhamdulillah, I have been going for Hajj from 2010, and it happened in Hajj, and the group, and what ends up happening is a group leader at the end have to make a decision for the betterment of the group, and they will leave you. It just has a ripple effect. So please be here on time, and we will leave here. We're not going to pray Jummah Salah here, even if the time sets in. Time doesn't set until 12 something anyways. So there is no way that we will be praying Jummah here. Once we get to the airport, we will be in the state of musafir. We'll be all musafir, and then inshallah at that point we will pray our dhuhr prayer. And it's possible we could pray asr right before we get on the plane. Now we are in the sacred safar, right? Our travel started. Now we will depart from here at 5 o'clock, and we will get to our destination, which is Jeddah, next day, Saturday, around noontime. So what we need to do is be mindful of our prayers while we are traveling. It's not forgiven. We need to be mindful of that. So what do we have? Asr. If we pray Asr on the airport, inshallah, we have Maghrib, Isha, and Fajr. There's 3 salah. Now, there are different opinions of scholars of how to perform prayer when they are traveling, right? And we need to be respectful of our scholars and whoever we follow, whether we follow the scholar, if you feel comfortable following the opinion of the scholar who you are accompanying with, or if you follow some other position, whatever it may be. So the position that, inshallah, we will talk about it, the position at least that what I think is the most correct position is while we are in safar, while we are in our plane, you have water available in the plane, so you have to make wudu. Whatever, even if you have a little bit water, there's one thing that you will learn when you go for Hajj, not that much in Umrah, that you will learn to make wudu with very little water, the bare minimum. So you would make wudu and you would pray your Maghrib Salah right when time sets in. And remember, we are going east and sun sets towards the west. So time will fly. The Maghrib time will be a very short time. It won't be the same as hour and a half. Maghrib time might finish within half an hour. So just look outside. Right when we take off, within few minutes, you will see Maghrib time starts and it will end right away. So if you are in the state of wudu, try to keep your wudu and quickly pray while you are sitting, wherever you are sitting. Now, back in the day, Saudi Airlines used to have a small musalla place in the back. If they still have it, subhanallah. But obviously, as a whole group, we are not able to go pray in Jamaat. If you are able to go, because alhamdulillah, most likely everyone in the flight is Muslim. If you're not able to, the opinion of renowned, acceptable scholars is that you pray salah while you're sitting on your seat. Allahu Akbar. You pray Maghrib, and now when the Isha time comes, which will be right after Maghrib, few minutes after Maghrib, because you're traveling east, is you pray 2 rakat Isha salah and your witr salah. Fajr time comes in, be mindful. Ask the people in the plane, the stewards in the plane, and they will tell you that what time Fajr time comes in. And then you could pray Fajr at that same thing, make wudu and pray Fajr salah. Do not just miss. Now, if a person falls off to sleep, they are unable to get up, and that's a different thing. But don't be oblivious of your salah, especially in the most sacred journey of yours. Try to make sure you offer your salah. Now, while sitting in your own on your own seat, if you're able to walk out and have that space where you could pray salah, pray. Now, when we are praying our Maghrib, Isha, and Fajr, this is not the time to build in full khushu and pray very long salah. Right? You're praying, Surah Tabarak alladhi biyadihi al-mulk in your nice salah. This is my sacred journey. No, quick, short, and sweet, because you want to just make sure you get it done and allow somebody else to pray as well, inshallah. So I just want to remind, the salah during your travel is very important. We are going there to perfect our salah and being punctual of our salah. What's the benefit if we are missing our salah during our travel? Same thing when we come back. When we come back, we'll be traveling west. Most likely, you will not see many salah. Perhaps, what time are we departing? From Jeddah? Okay. So whatever time we depart, maybe 2 or 3 hour difference. 6 a.m. So we will probably be able to pray Fajr right there. And by the time, what time we arrive here? Noon. Yeah, so we will be here for the whole time. As we are arriving, remember, obviously immigration, customs will happen. Salah should be the topmost priority for us, because that's our commitment. Remember, I said that's our intention. We are going there to be punctual of our salah, to make sure our 2-4-4-3-4 does not miss. Not when we are traveling, not when we are there, not when we come back. So inshallah, that's something that I just want to remind everyone. That's the mujahada. If it's a vacation mentality, you just relax, you put your headphones on, turn something on, and you sleep. No, that's not where we are going. Every moment, yes, we will rest. But when the time for salah comes, I will wake up. I'll wake up my partner. We'll remind each other as a group. Brother, as-salah, wa ma malakat aymanukum. The last words of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Salah, salah, salah. Umar radiallahu anhu, I was just speaking, I spoke about this last week during the Sahaba series. Abu Lu'lu al-Majusi attacked Umar radiallahu anhu with a dagger, which was in poison, and he is badly wounded. He's unconscious, laying down. Someone comes to him, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, salah. He's like, salah, there is no room for anyone to miss salah. In that wound, he got up and he prayed salah. So salah is very important. I just want to remind that this is something that we have to be mindful of. And then if we could do this salah while our travel, when we come back, it will be much easier for us to pray salah at work, at school, at home, and everywhere else, inshallah. Jazakumullah.
Any other questions before we close? Yes, sister? I didn't hear you. Are we meeting same time? At the airport? Yeah, so once we leave from here, inshallah, we're going to try and get there before 1 o'clock, latest, with traffic and everything, and we're going to check right into the flight once we get there, inshallah. So, yeah, and Brother Zubair mentioned earlier, you can go to the airport directly if you want, and on your own with your family if you'd like to get dropped off, but we have the buses arranged. But when we get there also, inshallah, we will arrange for a time for all of us to pray salah together and meet in general. If you're planning on going there without the bus, maybe message us in the group, let us know that you're going to be there, or one of the leads, inshallah, let us know, inshallah. You going? Okay, yeah. So there are a lot of people that, mashallah, are coming from Virginia, New York, and whatnot. So if you're not going to come to ISB only to go back to Virginia, it makes complete sense. So yeah, just let us know though, so we know who's there and who isn't, inshallah. 1 o'clock. That's the plan, to be there by 1 o'clock, inshallah.
Just one consumer tip. Credit cards are accepted in Saudi Arabia. If you went 10 years ago, it was all cash-based with some credit card here and there, but now I think that you can use Apple Pay, you can get a credit card. My recommendation though is, and I think you already have this, but when you're traveling, just let your credit card know that you're going to be making purchases overseas. The last thing you want to do is to be in a situation where you're trying to make a transaction and it gets declined, and then you can't use that form of payment. So make sure you contact your payment authorities, or you can borrow money from Hassan.
One more thing. We have breakfast covered every day of the trip. Breakfast, and it's an amazing buffet breakfast. You'll probably never get a buffet like this anywhere in the world again. But it's a beautiful breakfast buffet at both the hotels. And on some nights, we've also arranged dinner. We'll make sure we mention exactly when those nights are. And then the lunches, dinners, the rest of the time, inshallah, those are on for you all to figure out. Everyone wants to try the different foods there. There's a ton of restaurants, a ton of different variety of options, things that you probably won't get here, halal KFC, halal Hardee's, things like that. So you pick whatever you'd like to for those additional days. Yes, sir. So the question is about Zamzam. There used to be an allowance where we take a gallon of Zamzam with us back home at the airport in addition to our luggage. That rule, since COVID has kind of changed, and they won't allow it exactly that way, but I've heard that they've been changing some of it. You may be allowed to put it inside of your luggage and bring it with you. They've allowed that. But the rules there, honestly, are changing daily. Let's make dua that they let us bring a gallon like they used to, but as of now, you're in your luggage. So if you want to bring it in your luggage. So plan for that space.
Just one other thing is, alhamdulillah, all of us are going for the intention to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One of the things is, a lot of people want to go and give sadaqah jariyah, or they want to give zakat. That's entirely up to you as an individual. One of the things we're doing, if you want to participate in, there's no obligation in this. We, alhamdulillah, the group leaders, we're trying to collect money for the Rohingya refugees that are in Saudi Arabia. There's a big diaspora of Burmese folks that have been there for generations that have been pushed out of their homes, and we're going to be giving, if anybody wants to donate towards that cause, see Hassan and me, we're the ones that are going to go and actually give them that money before we leave Saudi Arabia on the way back. So I just wanted you guys to be aware. Please, on your own, give it to the folks in the streets, give it to the people who are working there that are cleaning the ground. I mean, this is something that's recommended prior to leaving, to give something to whoever you think deserves it, okay? Just with a clean heart. But from a formal capacity, we are trying to facilitate some money to give to Rohingya folks that have lived there for generations and are now living in squalor. So Jazakallah khair in advance for those people who want to participate in that.
If there's any questions, we can take that. If not, let's complete the session.
Just have a dua.
Before you leave,
Yeah, make sure you pick up the
before you leave, come get a bag from me. One per traveler. We have exactly enough for each traveler. So one per traveler. Come grab a bag before you leave today, inshallah. And again, if you're not in the WhatsApp group, please let us know so we can add you. And if you have relatives that are not in the WhatsApp group that are going with us, let us know, inshallah. And we'll close, inshallah, with dua.
Inshallah. Regarding the WhatsApp group, that group was created for us to communicate and address some important issues. I think it was already reminded by many that do not forward messages. And it's very important because if someone is to go back and look at the message, you have to go scroll back a lot because a lot of long forwards are coming. MashaAllah, if that message inspires you, that's good. That's good, right? Just keep it to yourself and let's not forward it.
And before we close the dua, he just reminded me, with the WhatsApp group, we have 5 scholars, mashallah, with different backgrounds, lots of education, and they're going to be the ones providing us with the guidance on how to do Umrah, du'as, things like that. My request humbly is to let them be the ones providing the religious advice. A lot of people are sending random things, you should do this. Let's let the scholars do that, please, and let them give the advice as far as to how to perform the Umrah, what du'as to say, things like that, inshallah.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. اللهم أنت السلام ومنك السلام وتباركت يا ذا الجلال والإكرام. اللهم إنا على ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك. اللهم أعنا على ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك. يا أول الأولين يا آخر الآخرين يا راحم المساكين يا راحم المساكين يا أرحم الراحمين يا أرحم الراحمين. ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. Oh Allah, we have indeed wronged many times, Ya Allah. Knowingly, unknowingly, Allah, we have wronged many times, Ya Allah. Through your sheer mercy, Allah, you have given us the opportunity to come to your house, Ya Allah, to go to the blessed city of Medina, Ya Allah. Please accept that from us, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, we do not deserve this, but Ya Allah, it is through your sheer mercy, Ya Allah. We are ever grateful to you, Ya Rabbal Alameen. Ya Allah, we ask that, Ya Allah, you make our suffer easy for us, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, for many, this was a very long anticipated trip, Ya Allah, that people have saved their money for very long to come and to fulfill this beautiful obligation of Umrah, Ya Allah. Please accept this from us, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, make our suffer easy for us, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, there are many restrictions, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, we ask you, Ya Allah, please make our suffer easy for us, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, many people are counting on us to go there and to make dua, Ya Allah. We ask that, Ya Allah, make our suffer easy for us, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, throughout our journey, Ya Allah, keep us all healthy and safe, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, we ask that, Ya Allah, take us as one ummah, as brothers and sisters, Ya Allah, and return us, allow us to come back as one ummah, as brothers and sisters, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, throughout our journey in Medina and in Mecca, Ya Allah, accept each and every act of ibadah of ours, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, accept our duas, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, we do not want to come back except that we are changed individuals, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, we want to come back as those who are beloved to you, Ya Allah, those who follow the teachings of your beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, we ask that, Ya Allah, throughout our journey, Ya Allah, allow us to get connected to Quran, allow us to get connected to the Salah and get the khushu and khudu, the concentration and devotion in Salah, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, we ask that, Ya Allah, many who will be leaving behind their family members, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, you take care of them and keep them in your aman, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, many of our family members who would have gone with us and who are not here with us, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, you have mercy on their graves, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, you shower your blessing and your mercy on their graves, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, we ask that, Ya Allah, please accept our duas. Ya Allah, many of our brothers and sisters, Ya Allah, who from Super Eagle, likewise our volunteers, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, reward them abundantly, Ya Allah. Indeed, they are doing this only to please you as a service of deen, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, many brothers and sisters who have done work behind the scenes, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, we ask that, Ya Allah, you reward them abundantly for this humble effort, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, please accept our duas, accept our khidmat, accept our ibadat. Allahumma taqabbal minna innaka anta as-sami'ul alim wa tub alayna innaka anta at-tawwabur rahim. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun ala al-mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Jazakumullah.